Hello, my name is Ben Brown. I'm an extension professional and research associate at the University of Missouri. And today I want to talk to you about the second iteration of the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. This program was launched in 2020 to help producers fight the negative impacts of the coronavirus that was working its way throughout the world. These programs, originally held late last year, were reopened starting April 5th to allow for additional producers to sign up for the programs and to make changes to the formulas. During this presentation, we'll cover how producers can utilize this program if you face negative financial status due to the coronavirus. What is covered in this specialty crop group and livestock, specialty crop and livestock? Floriculture and nursery crop producers, nearly 230 varieties of specialty crops, and then specialty livestock, including deer, alpaca, certain types of pellets and wools. And we'll cover this as we go through this presentation. However, if you would like to find additional resources for other program eligible commodities like livestock, dairy, or row crops, you can visit the MU Extension Agribusiness and Policy YouTube page to find information about those programs. A little bit of an overview to the CFAP2 program. The Coronavirus Food Assistance Program is geared towards helping producers who suffered financial losses due to COVID-19 during the previous year. These sales, or this program, responds to sales of the 2019 crop. However, for producers of either crops or livestock that did not have sales in 2019, it might actually apply to the 2020 actual sales. The original program allocated $14 billion in funding. However, additional funds were announced in March 24th to help serve additional producers and also the changes in payments that I talked about earlier. The application period opened April 5th and is open for 60 days. An end date has not been formally announced, but we continue to monitor that and we'll let you know as soon as we find out here at the University of Missouri. The United States Department of Farm Service Agency is the authorizing body running this program. So if you have questions, feel free to call your Farm Service Agency or MU Extension office. A couple other important details. Eligibility for the program is geared towards individuals or legal entities who share in the risk of producing a commercially produced commodity. The reason I say commercially produced, this does not include backyard chickens that are treated as pets or equestrian animals, also not eligible for this program. You have to comply with conservation compliance measures, and certainly you can find a list of those on the website, and you cannot have been found in violation of using a controlled substance. For compliance, this is a self-certified program. However, we recommend that records should be kept at least 3 years in the case of audits. And then finally, there are payment limitations. For the program, a payment limitation of $250,000 per individual or entity is established. There are special payment limitation rules that apply to participants that are involved in corporations, limited liability companies or LLCs, limited partnerships, trusts, or estates. In that case, if 2 members of the operation or the entity contribute to at least 400 hours of active work, you can qualify up to $500,000. However, each individual is also subject to the individual payment limitation of $250,000. There is the possibility for entities that have 3 members to qualify for up to $750,000, but that is where it stops, at 3 members as part of the entity. As far as Missouri eligible sales commodities, when it comes to floriculture nursery, cut flowers or cut greenery grown in a container or a controlled environment for a commercial sale do count. For nursery crops, decorative or non-decorative plants also grown in a container or controlled environment count, and then cactuses and Christmas trees. Not sure how many cactuses we have in the state of Missouri, but we certainly do have some Christmas tree farms, and they would be eligible. I do not have the complete list of eligible fruit and vegetables listed here in the middle, as again, there's 230. I'm not really sure, looking through the list myself, I'm not really sure what fruit and vegetable crops don't qualify, but nonetheless, if you're looking for specific ones, I encourage you to go to that link and check to make sure that your crop is listed. And then for livestock producers, again, a list of specialty crop livestock. They have to be grown for food, fiber, and excludes equestrian, breeding stock, companion, or comfort animals, pets, and animals raised for hunting and game. When we look at how payments for sales commodities are calculated, we first have to come up with a value of the sales from 2019. However, a change in the program from the previous iteration is now it includes indemnities from either the non-insured crop disaster assistance program, or more commonly known as NAP, which is very popular for fruit and vegetable producers, as many of those crops do not qualify or are eligible for federal crop insurance programs, along with indemnities from the Wildfire and Hurricane Indemnity Program Plus that was also rolled out for 2019 and 2020. So if you received indemnities from either of those programs, those can now be included in your total sales. And the idea is that that represents the actual value that you would have received in 2019 if it hadn't been due to a disaster or a qualifying event. We will then take that value of total sales plus indemnities from 2019, and we'll multiply that by the applicable payment rate, which I have included those in the chart seen on the right. For producers, again, that do not have 2019 sales or crop insurance indemnities, the actual sales from 2020 will be used. So let's walk through an example. In this example, the producer had $90,000 worth of fruit and vegetable sales, not including $8,000 in NAP insurance indemnities in 2019. They also had $20,000 worth of Christmas tree sales in 2019 as well. So we first have to calculate our total income that we would have had in 2019. We throw in the fruit and vegetable sales of $90,000, the NAP insurance indemnities of $8,000, and the Christmas tree sales of $20,000 for total 2019 sales of $118,000. Referencing our same chart that we had on the previous slide to get our percentages, we take the first $49,999 times 10.6%. We take the next $49,999 times 9.9%. And then since we're only left with $18,000 at this point, we take the remaining $18,000 times 9.7% for a total payment of $11,995.79. So this is how the payment works across floriculture and nursery products, Christmas trees and cactuses again, fruit and vegetables, and then also specialty livestock. This is the same calculation that would be used. How do you go about signing up? Well, there's several ways, and USDA has really made this an easy process for those folks that have not already enrolled up for CFAP 2. As I mentioned, this is not a different program than what was available last fall, but certainly any producer that did not enroll during that period can now apply. You will fill out the application through the payment calculator. It's an Excel-based tool located on USDA's website that allows you to save it, and then you can send that to your local county office. You can manually complete the applications. Again, you might want to reference the payment calculator, make sure that you've got your calculations correct in the boxes in that manual application. You can apply online. Again, you have to file for an e-authentication account. This is relatively easy to do, but again, you do not have to go that route if you do not want to, and you can simply work with your county FSA office. And I've included the link there if you do not know where your county FSA office is or how to find it. Certainly you are able to visit that link right there. Given some of the COVID protocols that are in place, many FSA offices across the state are not accepting visitors and only responding to call-ins and emails. So you want to make sure to get in touch with your FSA office before driving there in person or visiting in person. So as a summary, a couple of action items to summarize this video. If you did not enroll for CFAP 2, again, that enrollment window was September 21st of 2020 to December 11th of 2020, you can enroll now. The deadline or the application period started April 5th and goes from 60 days from that point. If you did have NAP insurance or WIP Plus payments in 2019, you can amend your application. So again, this is a change from the previous application period in September through December. And if you did have indemnities from either of those programs, you can amend your application. Again, you will just call the FSA office. They will send you a form that you will fill out to amend your application, and they can process that information for you. For the majority of producers that had NAP or WIP Plus indemnities during 2019, this will increase your CFAP 2 payments. And then help us spread the word. We'd really appreciate it. There's a lot of producers out there that were impacted by the coronavirus, and certainly Many of you have already participated in these programs, but we certainly want to make sure that we're turning over every rock to make sure that we find all producers that are eligible for this program. So if you wouldn't mind sharing this word with your friends and neighbors, we'd really appreciate it. And then finally today, I just want to say thank you. And certainly if you want to connect with us here at the University of Missouri, we encourage you to lean on your land grant. And we have several resources available through the MU Extension Ag Business and Policy Unit, including a YouTube page and a Facebook account. You can also find updated fact sheets and information on our website listed there as well. And with that, stay safe, be healthy, and we'll see you around the corner soon.